The natural progress of things is for liberty to yield and government to gain ground. To safeguard against this, the founders did their best to devise a system of checks and balances between three branches of government to help ensure that the central government would have defined and limited powers. Unfortunately, even the best of plans can be thwarted by progressives who think that the Constitution must adapt to changing times. What progressives do not realize is that the ideals and principles of the Constitution are timeless, and they must not be adjusted to current populist ideas and should only be modified via lawful constitutional amendment. For example, the 19th Amendment providing women the right of suffrage, Bob Lineage of Jola. Okay? This is the issue of the government, which is you guys now, in this little town, sticking their nose in everybody's business when there isn't a problem. Okay, that's the issue that everybody's upset over this. It isn't about pumping water out of the ground or anything, because that's not an issue. If you wanted to worry about some shit, you would let the trucks running down since I-88's closed. That some chemical tanker don't take the curve on the bridge, tip over and get ripped on those brand new guardrails and dump toxic waste in the creek. Okay, that's an issue too. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But if it does, that's a lot more riskier than what you're talking about here when a natural disaster doesn't affect. Okay, I don't know what you guys think you're going to protect. You're going to protect if an earthquake comes and puts a fissure in, you're going to be able to stop that. Okay? I got one more thing to say before I go. Okay, this thing hangs on my bulletin board. It's on the same line. This year will go down in history. For the first time, a civilized nation has full gun registration. Our streets will be safer, our police more efficient, and the world will follow our lead into the future. Adolf Hitler, 1935. Okay, I don't think I need to explain what happened after that. Okay, so basically, you know, they don't teach that stuff in school anymore, because, you know, I know it's not politically correct or whatever, but it'll all come back to you when the government comes and kicks your front door. That's where we're headed. And you guys are Republicans, okay? I shouldn't be telling you this.
You're talking on my behalf, my team, affordable water.
I'm talking on all our behalves.
The catastrophe came, the hurricane came once in 100 years, did nothing to that water. You had cow, horse, all kinds of sewage, gasoline, diesel, propane, formaldehyde, everything went down there, and nothing happened to that water. What makes you think something's going to happen to that water now that you have to protect it? What can I possibly do that that storm didn't already do and already put past that well and tested that well that was sticking out in the creek that nobody's helping me put back there except Nick, Ricky Peterson, and John Broker, and my brother Jeff. No help from the town that's so worried about the water. All they've got to do is fight me, making me spend a lot of money I don't have. I just don't understand it. And it's going to get a lot uglier. Because once you take this and shut me down, then I'm going to sue you all, and it's going to be a lot more problems and a lot more money for the town, which they're going to have to cough up. Because you guys think you need to protect that water. Or maybe he needs to think that, because you seem to be listening to him, at least from what I hear. So, I don't know if you want to say anything?
I do. I'm
not very privileged.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing, like, and you know, just for everybody's edification again, is I actually met with Mike at 7:15 this morning. We sat for, 45 minutes or so. Mike had to go to work, and then, I had to go to work and do my stuff.
Mike, I'm going to stop you there. I don't mean to cut off this conversation, but I don't know if you've had an opportunity to update the entire board on the conversation you had with Mike.
No,
and we've been doing this in conversations with me. So in order just to protect that conversation, I think it would make sense for us in executive session to have a discussion to allow Mike to, in order to bring the town board up to speed, have them make a decision on how they want to address it, and then go forward.
All they do is listen to you, and then you charge them money. which charges all of us money.
They ask me questions on what the state of the law is. They ask me questions.
And going, and then you keep making money.
Not at all, and I think if you ask any of these guys, they would disagree with it. They're asking me for my interpretation of the law so they can decide how to move forward. And from everything I've heard from these guys, their main and only concern is protecting the town's water supply. And they're talking with their engineer who is giving them advice as to what they think the state of the well is out there. Nobody has any interest in shutting you down, giving you any further headaches, but they want to make sure that that the town's water supply is
Army
protected.
Corps of Engineer inspected that well, and the bank, and everything is fine. You can't listen to the Army engineer?
They can, but they're getting advice from the town's engineer, who's, again, being tasked with looking at the state of all the facts, including what the Corps is telling them and what DEC is telling them, and giving the town board his best opinion on what needs to be done in order to protect the well. If he comes back to us and tells us he thinks it's okay, I think the town board would probably be okay with that. But then he needs to understand exactly what the state of affairs is out there and understand what the risk is to the town's water supply and then advise the town on what needs to be done.
They all gave me permits to do what I'm doing to protect that well.
If he's comfortable with it. But I think everyone on the town board and I just aren't up to speed on what the latest state of discussions has been. And I think we should do that first before getting back to you on a response, that's all I'm saying.
And again, I just want to reaffirm, Mike, I mean, you know that, Nick and Nick called me 3 months ago saying, can you jump in and help? And I tried to jump in and help. I reached out to you, talked to you, we've been meeting, we're trying to meet an agreement that, without going into a whole bunch more here, so I've been reaching out. I'm sorry?
The only agreement you're agreeing to would be a special use permit.
No, I gave you this morning. And you said, I gave you 2 copies.
Okay with that.
I'm sorry?
We haven't discussed
He's
it.
not okay with that.
We haven't discussed
We haven't
it.
discussed it. That's why.
That's why I want to say we should talk about it first and then we'll get right back to it. But we just haven't talked about that at all.
So I've been trying to keep the board up to date on emails and things.
Grandfather, that shouldn't be coming into play. So there you're taking your grandfather away because you want that.
So,
I realize, I just wanted them to know.
so the question I asked this morning,
Being here on my side.
I'm on your side. I really am.
Well, you say you're.
Well, it's Ward or Mike. I mean, so it's really close.
100-year storm, never again, never happened.
But it did.
My well is a rock gonna hit it. I mean, it's
So,
common sense and book smart. It's just 2 different things. Nothing's gonna happen there. Well, another, every day it's been there 35 years.
all I'm asking is, can we be patient just a little bit more?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we've come pretty close. I mean,
You only come close
Nick.
because I agreed to do everything
Right.
for that special use permit, as long as it doesn't say special use permit. So I'm still giving you everything you want. It costs me a lot of money.
And it costs
So I
us a
don't know
lot of
what
money.
you're giving me, saying you're giving me something. I don't understand where that comes in. You're giving me, my grandfather would be real nice, I really appreciate that. Let me be, would be real nice. Don't put a contingency on me, do this and we'll leave you alone because you had a catastrophe hit you. I mean, that's just plain as it is.
Mike, we are absolutely sensitive to that, but I mean, it's our
You're
job
not
to listen.
sensitive. If you were sensitive, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
I'm trying to help. I mean, the board actually should step back and say, this is a code enforcement and zoning board discussion. It has nothing to do with the board. I mean, there's laws and interpretations, so, you guys asked me to come in and see if I can help. And I have. I'm trying to. But this is actually, probably. But,
Okay.
as far as I know, it shouldn't even be in the board's hands here. It's
Well,
not the
because
board's.
everybody's saying they're gonna protect the water, they've got to protect the water because of me, so I just wanted to come up and say, it is me that you're talking about. And
Well, I was trying to respect your
that's
privacy.
what it is.
I know, I was trying to respect your privacy. If you guys want to stay for, a little bit, we'll go into executive session, we'll try to talk it out and see what happens.
I'm gonna say one more thing. The water overlay law You have to prove it.
Can we have one conversation, please? Sorry. One conversation, please. Come on. Sorry.
You have to prove there's contamination in order to make him do anything. There doesn't need to be an agreement unless there's a problem. There is no problem there. Read the overlay law. Read the overlay law. Bring them up to speed on what I brought you this morning. I already went through this 5 years ago with the board I had. And it became nothing because we didn't have the authority to stick our face in because there was no problem. You're creating a problem where there isn't one. And that seems to be a big habit with this board.
Comments from the floor. So, and I'm not trying, I know this is sensitive, so.
Me, you can help Mike out there, give him some of the grant money. When the town gets it, because already I have diverted the water, so it doesn't wash away the fence in the back of our waterworks.
I actually, after Mike's,
I think you mentioned that to me once, Mike.
yeah, we just began to bring the town up to speed a little bit. And I know I mentioned this was actually a resolution or one of my updates with that. And I told Mike I'd follow up on it again this morning. So we've applied for funding from DEC, from FEMA, and from a third agency, I can't remember who it is right now. The total is, with FEMA, is about $230,000. Of that, the town will be responsible for 25%. Although we do have applications in to try to cover that 25%. But I think as everybody understands, you know, as much as Mike's property was damaged, in comparison to Schoharie and Rotterdam Junction, I don't know. But I will comment, or not comment, I will follow up this week to say, where is this money, how's it coming? Andrew Cuomo made a big statement that they're gonna cover the 25% of the town, so, all right, Mr. Cuomo, you know, where's the money? And as soon as it gets in, and we get approval, and I get the board's okay to sign, then we'll sign and we'll get Doug to engineer it and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, this is all pending. The thing is here now is, I don't know why, but they're happy with what I'm doing there. And I'm wondering if, when I'm done, if they'll come in and finish, because there's going to be more work. Unless I was just trying to help him out, and we got his well secured 100%. In fact, I got a whole thing all the way around it now. We can put his house on it and everything. And way up front, I stopped the water from going down that side of the creek completely. It's all clean water. It's going down. They're watching me like a hawk. I don't have any dirt at all in the creek going down there right now. I got a muddy section where I'm working. I separated it. Now I don't know if they never gave us a plan on how to do all this. This all just came from up here.
And you've done some magic down there. I do have to say that I admire what you've done down there. I thought I gave you, maybe I did, if you didn't, when DEC, and I forget the other agency, came through and they did the estimate, they did a very high level plan. So I got a copy of it. I can share that with you. So you know what their idea was. See, I got other ideas there, but I can't do it because I don't think they're going to approve of it. So, yeah. Hold on a second. The timing. Okay. The water should go over that way more yet, but they don't want us to get the other guy. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Mike. It was 30 grand for George, 193 for Mike, so it's 30-ish. So they will probably, they'll cover rebuilding and engineering bank. That would encompass the Mike's property and George's property. George being the board. So if we can hold one meeting, that would be great. Is you guys done with the approvals on the floor?
Hearing the talk about the water, I don't know much about it except what I heard tonight, but being a resident that's on the municipal water supply now, I think the town board has a really big responsibility to protect the public water supply in this town. And it's to your benefit, to our benefit, and probably to Mr. Hayden's benefit, to prevent something from happening, from contaminating the water. So, do what you can with Mr. Hayden to help protect his business and help protect our public water supply. I just have a couple comments on the ethics policy. Mr. Joyce reached out to a lot of people, including all members of the town board, to participate in putting this ethics policy together to help Mr. Little do this. I was one of the people who reached out to, so I volunteered. He just asked for anybody who's interested in participating. The only thing I did, I think it was for 1 hour, one night, is I went through and checked spelling and grammar on this thing. But from what I saw, there was no bias in this policy. It was done in a very objective manner. It was not to pinpoint anything. It was just to update the ethics policy in this town. And for anyone to suggest otherwise, they're just wrong. Thank you.
Thanks. Additional comments? All right. I'd like to close this piece of the meeting and open it up for council concerns. Curation, go for it.
Yes, there was an editorial in the paper past week or about a week and a half ago stating that there would probably, the town residents should be prepared for a town tax. I can assure everyone out there that I have never heard any discussion whatsoever about a town tax being instituted. I know Mike has never said anything to me about it. I know Councilman Juzinski hasn't. And I know Councilman Edwards has never said anything to me, or Councilman Myers. I don't know where this was coming from, but I can assure everybody out there, I, for one, would never vote for a town tax. And for this to be said is putting this scare into the residents in this community is wrong. There is no talk of a town tax at all, that I know of. One other thing. It's come to my attention. There was another bill last year that went unpaid. This is the second time this has happened. I was on the board last year. I had no knowledge that this bill was not presented to the board of $28,118. This was sent to the town on October 18th. A resolution was printed, and somebody pulled it from the agenda so that the town board would not vote on it. We were repeatedly told this is another bill that was not given to the town. I was on the board then. Councilman Mars was on the board, and Councilman Edwards. I don't know if he knew anything about it, and I don't know if Councilman Myers, I don't think he did, but I had no knowledge of any outstanding bill. This is the second time last year that the town board was not notified of an outstanding bill. And it was held over until the new administration came in, until the new supervisor came in. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. It's the town board that's responsible for the finances of this town. Not just one person, not the supervisor, not one town councilman, it's the town board as a whole. And for one person not to tell the town board that there's an outstanding bill and to let it go, and then to tell everybody that we're under budget is absolutely wrong. And it's a downright lie, and it's a shame that this went on last year. That's my comment.
Well, can you just tell me what bill it is that you're referring to? It was the highway. Is this for snow and ice removal or something?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that historically we pay the prior year's snow and ice removal bill in the current year. So paying this on the current year would effectively have the town paying 2 years worth of bills in 1 year. That's the way it was explained to me. So we pay the prior year and the current year, so then we push this year to next year, and that's the way it explains to me it's historically been done. Going back and putting this bill back would have us, last year, then paying 2 snow and ice removal bills in 1 year, and probably having a bigger negative impact on the budget than if they had been consistently paying 1 snow and ice removal bill per year. Does that make sense?
No.
So paying 2 ice removal bills in 1 year versus paying 1 within a year.
Their contract is from June.
Doesn't matter when the contract is. If the prior year's contract was paid in 2011, again, I'm just explaining what it's explained to me. If 2010 snow and ice removal bill was paid in 2011, and 2011 was paid in 2012, 2012 was 13.
So when a bill comes in.
Changing that, I have no idea about the timing, or I'm just telling you
So
historically,
we haven't received the second half of.
that's the way it was explained to me.
We haven't received the second half bill from 2011.
So, again, I think it seems that there's a lot of things that people feel comfortable taking excerpts or twisting the context of, and, they don't know really what they're talking about. Is something funny? I mean, you just spoke about somebody spreading fear amongst the residents. You spent a year doing that. So I think it's kind of ironic for you to say that to anyone.
Stop with your
So
accusations.
you and your mutts out there can laugh all you
Don't
want.
call our residents mutts.
Well, you fit right in with us too.
No, I don't.
Mr. Edwards, I mean, I hate to have to pass a resolution that, common courtesy.
Why? It doesn't seem to be an effect.